So I want to start today with just showing what my company does. We're responsible for building this array of spectacular structures you see in front of you. My personal favorite is the glass guitar. That's the Hollywood Hard Rock down in Miami. So that's what we do. And no doubt for a lot of you here, that's what you do too in your companies. And it is an amazing industry to be part of that actually builds these structures and defines skylines for generations to come. However, let me ask this. How many of you have done a real post-mortem on your project once it's done? How many of you, if you did one, did it for all your projects? Opened all the data reports, looked at all the data, thought about, hey, what did I learn on this job? What do I extract from it? And how do I teach the next generation that's coming into this industry what to avoid, what best practices to adopt? I'll be honest, it's hard. Once a job is closed, it's closed, and it's very hard to go back and look at all the information. Every project is an island. We're geographically dispersed. We have our own P&L. We have our own teams. We have our own clients. And every job, therefore, delivers, just kind of in isolation traditionally. But that does the industry a disservice, because if you don't look back, you don't extract the learnings, most people's development is just limited to apprenticeship. I've been on 10 jobs. I've never seen this set of 10 conditions. And I'm pretty good, but what if I could actually extract the learnings from not 10 jobs, 100 jobs, 200 jobs, 1,000, literally the whole portfolio of each and every individual builder? That's what data can help with. If we have a streamlined way to collect, store, and then disseminate the information to the people that need to know it when they need to know it, that can actually help bring up the next generation and help us build better, driving that continuous improvement over time. So today, what I want to share with all of you is kind of 3 stories from our data journey as we kind of traverse through this transformation. I want to tell you not just about what we've built and what tools we've given our people to help them learn, but also the impact of them as individuals, what it felt like a little bit to be on the receiving side, and what they've taken from these tools. So let's start the first story with the power of transparency. How it can change culture, how it can surface information, and how it can help us take better decisions. We all know what gets measured gets managed, right? So we put in place a data infrastructure that takes all of the sources of information from all the different systems that we have and put it into a dashboard that actually surfaces in one look all of the different aspects of your job, where historically you've had to go through different systems and take a look at it. And we do this automatically and in near real time. So that achieved what we wanted it to achieve. We kind of increased the cycle time. People could see things faster, take action faster. And you helped give each and every project manager in a job, even if you're just on one system doing MEPs or doing structure or doing facade, to actually see the high-level picture of the project. We've had this for about 3-4 years. What is interesting is now looking back and interviewing some of these people that were APMs when they started, when this was first launched, and hear how they actually received this information and what it's done for them. So with that, we're going to first hear from Paul.
I first saw the project dashboard when I was an APM, assisting with the structure and facade at a large Boston commercial project. The dashboard seemed high level and more for senior leadership. However, once I started working with the operational excellence group, I was able to see the potential benefit. I was often asked to find information on jobs I had no prior experience with, and the dashboard was a useful way to get a high-level understanding of the project. Over time, I've learned that human and machine are complementary. The information helps us sense-check our intuition and ground it in facts.
So that was Paul. First, the information transparency helped him see jobs that he wasn't actually a part of, but if he needed to get a 3-minute view of how that job is going, it helped him see that. It helped him actually be able to have conversations with senior leaders. He was an APM, but he could have conversation with a project executive, with a VP, with a COO, because he could see that high-level overview. He understood that even though it was threatening at first, that it helped ground his intuition in facts and then helped him better argue a case if you needed an owner to sort of take an action or take a decision. And his journey is not unique. I have heard this perspective now echoed by many other people that's been in his shoes when they first saw our project dashboard. So that is the first story. But the dashboards alone are not enough, right? We have one of the most severe labor shortages that we have in this industry for decades. A lot of the young people coming into the industry right now may not just have the experience to know when they're in trouble. And so we introduced this idea of data as a safety net. We need different levels of managerial oversight, but we need to give them that information in a very streamlined, succinct, synthesized way so that they can manage by exception, and you can take a valuable resource like management time and direct it appropriately at the areas where they need to be expended upon. So building on the back of the project dashboard, we built a management view. We built a management view by synthesizing the information up, by showing trends, by making sure all aspects are measured, and then we set tolerances. What is in tolerance? What is out of tolerance? When it's out of tolerance, to flag it, and to make that really visible so that exceptions are highlighted and management can focus time. We did all of that, and then we rolled it out to our COOs and GMs, so people who manage a portfolio of projects, 10 jobs, 20 jobs, 50 jobs. Here's what I want to share in terms of what one of them said. So he can't be here today. You got to imagine me as a COO, sort of rather than a data geek, looking after 28-figure dollar jobs. Dynamite. Not quite exactly in the sense of blowing things up. But what he shared is that, hey, this gives me a much longer fuse time, right? We all know when stuff goes wrong on a job, it can blow up pretty quickly. But now with the information that we have, it has that fuse time, and he can see it early. He forms a management plan. It bakes into his monthly reviews, and then every month when he does that review, he'll form a 3-week action plan to make sure the issue gets taken care of, and he'll kind of check back constantly against the data to make sure that the data also reflects the fact that the issue is resolved. There's no more calling a whole bunch of people to figure out what's going on. Hey, sort of tell me if this is done or that is done. No, you can actually see it right in front of you through the information. From a value perspective, what he shared is that, hey, I'm avoiding cost. I'm stopping margin erosion, or at least minimizing margin erosion, right? And so we always aspire to build on time, on budget, high quality, high safety. But with this, I have more tools at my disposal to actually make sure it happens. So that's the kind of real benefit and value to it. But what about the cultural shift? What was it like for him when he had to explain to all his people, like, hey, we're going to run with the dashboards now? Here's what he told me. Threatened. Always the first response. Everybody's threatened when they feel like they're being measured. Corporates kind of watching Big Brother type of thing. But over time, as people get used to it, there was grudging acceptance. Maybe this is cool. Maybe this can help me grow. Last thing, excitement. The nice thing about data is that the more data they have and they get to see it and they start trusting it, the more they're going to ask for it. So now we are in the excitement phase. It helps if leadership role models. So it's great to get COOs and GMs on board because then they role model the behavior that they expect from their people. And over time, this is helping us deliver better. So that's the second story. But that's not it. The third story here is about looking forward instead of looking back. Because the earlier we can see an issue and take action, the better the outcomes are going to be. So take an example in safety. What if you could predict the safety risk on your project, right? What if you could do that based on a number of factors that all of us intuitively know matter? Maybe it's the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday, right? Maybe it's August in the Northeast and everybody's taking vacation and looking to get out the door. All of us have all of these gut instincts, but there was no way to put them all in one platform before and have something support you by saying, hey, if this is the set of factors that tend to lead to safety incidents, based on data, Now, when the same set of circumstances recur, can I give you a proactive warning that say, hey, watch out for job X, because it's entering a period of time when the supervisory ratios aren't right, when the weather conditions are bad, the schedule is compressed, and therefore folks are rushing, and we've recently had a slew of high-risk observations. If you had that, what would we be able to do? Can we set up differentiated programs? Can we take actions? If we take the actions, how much can we reduce that risk by? How much can we reduce the human cost as well as the financial cost of something going wrong on a lot of jobs, right? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 50%? I mean, you just imagine what you can do, because at that point, you're not bound by the information or lack of information. You are bound by your ability to do something about it, to control an outcome. So I personally find this, very exhilarating and very exciting to imagine that this can be something that we can embrace as an industry to help us better control the outcomes. But it is a long journey, and it requires an extreme trust in not an extreme trust, but a strong trust in the data, both knowing what it can do and what it can't do. So on the cultural side, I want to share with you a little bit kind of the voice of operations, like what have different people said about prediction as we have experimented with it over the last 2 to 3 years, right? I won't read the quotes out, but if you sort of take a look, there's certainly a range. On the one hand, there are those who dismiss it when, one single prediction is wrong or it didn't catch a certain factor. On the other hand, cautiously optimistic, some people are like, you know what? It's actually kind of nice to have something that checks me, that I trust is unbiased, because all it's doing is crunching the numbers. And it's scientifically forcing me to confront my bias. Like, am I optimistically biased? Do I always think things are going to go well when, sometimes they may not? That's kind of useful. And then there's a really optimistic view here that says, hey, this is just like, let's put all our hunches into one thing. Let's see whether or not it proves out. And then let's have a decision aid that helps us decide where to spend time, what to do, and get to a different outcome. So we're not there yet. This is, like I said, a very long journey. Builders are very pragmatic. We need to know if we do something, something else is going to happen. But statistics are not deterministic. Just because it doesn't happen doesn't mean it's wrong. We all still rely on the weather report, even though we all know the weather report's never 100% accurate, right? Predictions require a completely different level of trust. But it is a good measure of how far we have come in our data journey. A very good friend and a fellow chief data officer in this industry once said to me that, hey, I measure every company's data sophistication with when is the first time they have developed an algorithm, rolled it out, and adopted it across the board in operations. And that's a very good yardstick, because if you're able to do that, then you'll know that you've trained up the people, they understand what it can do, you've realized value, you've got executive support. So I challenge each and every one of us to sort of measure ourselves against that yardstick, because the value and the impact can be there, but we just got to learn to walk through that journey, manage the cultural shift, and capture that value. So to end, I just want to share a couple of things that I think all of us can do tomorrow. First, invest in data and process. There are no shortcuts to this, and the sooner we start, the faster we can reap the results of analytics, of predictable outcomes, etc. Second, ease the cultural journey by emphasizing a no-fault culture, but instead emphasizing learning, emphasizing, fail fast, but pick yourself up, because that will actually decrease the level of threat that folks feel with the data and encourage that curiosity to ask for more. Thirdly, focus on what matters. Focus on things with impact, because everybody likes to win. With that, thank you very much.